with Hubie Brown. This is Bob Neal from Memorial Coliseum in Portland, Oregon, the great Northwest, and we have the Beast of the East and Best of the West matchup here tonight. The Boston Celtics with 45 wins and Portland with 45 victories on the season. Now, it's been an interesting week of contrast for these two teams. Since Portland's win last week at Boston, the Celtics have won 3 in a row. Portland has had, in a scheduling quirk in the NBA, the entire week off. And Hubie Brown, the first question is, does the week off help them with rest, or does it make Portland stale?
Well, everything is in your approach. With Portland, Monday off, worked hard Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday off, came back very hard on Friday and Saturday. They put in some new wrinkles, maybe looks of trapping tonight. All right, now you look at their players. Drexler had the week off, tendonitis in the right shoulder. Now, Jerome Kersey, because of the calf injury, he was getting out of shape, had not practiced in 5 weeks. He needed the work every day. Also, what to do with Walter Davis when he's on the floor. They put in some new sets to take advantage of Walter, and let's face it, that's a good week off.
Now, speaking of injuries, the Boston Celtics had to play, and they got 3 victories without him, without point guard Brian Shaw, who was injured in that Portland game. D. Brown filled in well, but Brian Shaw will be back tonight.
Now, tough for Brian. He has really a good matchup with Terry Porter. Now, when you think about Porter, you're thinking about someone off the dribble. Can Shaw move laterally with him and guard him going to the basket? If it cannot, we'll see D. Brown early.
Now, matchups in this game always significant. One of them will be really interesting from a Portland point of view. That's Buck Williams, who has 2 matchup problems.
Yeah, it's tough because he has Larry Bird early outside, must take him with the passing and cutting and guard for the 3. When McHale comes in, this is their #1 problem, how to guard McHale in the low post. Now, when you look at another one, there's a real good one out there, Gamble versus Kersey. Sunday, Kersey 23, Gamble 4. A big change.
And the Portland Trailblazers have beaten the Boston Celtics the last 4 times these two teams have played. Celtics haven't won since '89. We'll be back here with Portland and Boston, but right now after this, Ernie Johnson in Atlanta.
Good evening, everybody. Ernie Johnson in Atlanta. Our Sunday night bonus moments away as the Blazers host the Celtics here on TNT. First, let's get you caught up on what's happened in the NBA today, and we'll tip it off with the Central Division collision between the Bulls and the Hawks, and this one was all Chicago at the Omni. Michael Jordan, 25 points, didn't even play the 4th period. Get out the Instamatic, Martha, because here he comes with the showtime. 9 assists, 9 rebounds to go with those 25. Chicago in a rout, 122-87 at the Omni. The LA Lakers and Orlando Magic. Lakers trying to keep the heat on Portland in the Pacific. It is James Worthy on the feed from Magic Johnson, lays it in, 115-101, the Lakers winners over the Magic. The New Jersey Nets and the Miami Heat. The loser sinks to the bottom of the Atlantic Division. Sherman Douglas, 28 points on the day, 13 assists. He feeds Glenn Rice here. It's Miami 101-88. The Nets have now lost 5 straight. The Phoenix Suns ran their winning streak to 6, beat Minnesota 123-109. The Dallas Mavericks and Denver Nuggets have played 3 times this season. The loser in each game has scored 110 points. Somebody call Mr. Ripley. Golden State beats Sacramento. That's 27 straight losses on the road for the Kings. And the Cleveland Cavaliers, call Mr. Ripley on this too. They've got a lead at the half on the road at LA. Back at the half with more on the Sunday action, and we'll take a look at some guys who have made whining an art form in the NBA. But straight ahead, the Celtics and the Blazers, a Sunday night bonus on TNT.
Tonight, in the great Northwest, Bob Neal and Hubie Brown with you from Memorial Coliseum. They've packed it in again here tonight, the longest sellout string in pro sports here in Portland. They're just now about to introduce the Portland Trailblazers. As we watch that, let's take a look at the lineups for tonight's ball game. First of all, for Boston, remember they are on a 3-game win streak. Larry Bird and Kevin Gamble at the forwards. Robert Parrish, the cover boy in Sports Illustrated this week. Reggie Lewis and Brian Shaw back from his sprained ankle. You'll be seeing a lot of action from D. Brown, who filled in so well at the point guard position. D. Brown, the rookie out of Jacksonville, and Boston coached by Chris Ford. And this is kind of a matchup of the NBA All-Star coaches. Chris Ford and Rick Adelman matched up in the NBA All-Star game. 2 of the young coaches making their marks in the NBA. And for the Portland Trailblazers, the best team in the NBA at this point in terms of record, Buck Williams and Jerome Kersey. Kersey back from that calf and playing himself back into game shape. Kevin Duckworth at the center. Drexler and Porter, 2 of the better guards in the league, will handle the guard position. positions for the Portland Trail Blazers. And Rick Adelman, a member of the original Trail Blazers, his third year as head coach here, with a 67% winning percentage. So we have the Portland Trail Blazers and the Boston Celtics. The officials, Jack Madden, Bob Delaney, and Joe DeRosa. And Hubie, there's something about Portland, this current group of Portland players the last couple of years in Boston. Portland seems to have their number. They've won 4 in a row.
Yeah, but that's because the Celtics have been struggling. I realized last year the Celtics were 52-30, but the year before they were in a period of adjustment without Bird. So naturally you're going to, when you are as quick in the open floor and you can rebound as well as Portland, you could handle the Celtics no matter where the games were, home or away.
So Larry Bird, as you look at him right now, in 42 minutes in the Los Angeles Clippers win their last game, had 22 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, etc. 3-point land, he is 27 of 49 in the past 6 games. And Bird is on fire as a 3-point shooter, but Portland's the best 3-point shooting team in the NBA coming into this ball game, even though they're in a minor 3-point slump right now. We will have Jerome Kersey and Robert Parrish jumping in at center court. These are 2 teams who have about as good a chance as anybody of playing in the championship of the NBA when the playoffs are all said and done. Boston and Portland, their second and final meeting against each other this year. Duckworth.
Coming up, it's the Prudential Halftime Report. We'll take you around the league on this Sunday, the running of the Bulls in Atlanta, Magic meets the Magic in Orlando, and we'll spotlight the league's premier whiners. It's all ahead on the Prudential Halftime Report. It's a Sunday night extra on TNT, and they're halfway home in Portland, where the Blazers trail the Celtics 56-46. Ernie Johnson in Atlanta with the Prudential Halftime Report. Should Boston win this game, the Celtics would have a league-high 46 wins, but they would still trail Chicago by percentage points in the race for the best record in the Eastern Conference and the home court playoff benefits that go along with it. Michael Jordan and company rolled into Atlanta this afternoon and proceeded to steamroll the Hawks by 35. Michael with a 25-point afternoon, didn't even play at all in the 4th period. Here's the way it went. B.J. Armstrong will miss, but there's an offensive rebound for Will Perdue. Let's give Craig Hodges a shot. That won't go. There's Perdue again to Cartwright. Give B.J. another try at this thing before the clock runs down in the 1st period. He cans it. 34-27, Bob Weiss's troops down. Jordan, as we said, playing 3 quarters and giving the fans what they want to see. A little Showtime jam and a 77-51 lead. Look at Scottie Pippen from John Paxson. The Bulls on their way to a 35-point win, 122-87. Now, 5 teams from the Central Division will likely get into the playoffs. The only team of those 5 with a losing record inside the division, the Atlanta Hawks, 9-13. Very tough to make up ground when you're playing like that head-to-head with the guys in your own division. The LA Lakers and Orlando Magic at Orlando Arena. The Magic trying to make it 3 straight. Dennis Scott, a career-high 40 the other night. He had 19 in the 1st period tonight. But the Magic trying to contend with Magic Johnson. Little hook here for a 69-63 3rd period lead. He had 18 points and 12 assists. Orlando tries to stay close. Shot clock winding down, and Jerry Reynolds creates this 3-point monster that goes in for him. But the Lakers put it away in the 4th period. Terry Teagle, nice little fadeaway Jay, and the Lakers on their way to a 14-point win over Orlando. Now, we set our sights on the Pacific Heights, the top 3 teams in the Pacific Division as we head into the last 6 weeks of the season. The schedule favoring the Lakers and Phoenix as they chase Portland, as Portland has 13 of 22 games away from home. The New Jersey Nets and the Miami Heat at Miami Arena tonight. New Jersey trying to snap a 4-game losing streak. Looking good early. Chris Morris right in your face there. They're down 3, but they build a 4-point lead. And then Sherman Douglas takes over. The steal and the Heat down by 2 on the feed to Glenn Rice. Douglas had 28 points. Here's a shot that would knock a few people out of a horse game. I'm telling you that. Look at this thing, little scoop, and it goes for him. 28 points, a 101-88 win for Miami. New Jersey drops to the bottom of the Atlantic. Douglas not the only guy with a huge day for the Heat. Look at Ronnie Cycli. Derek Coleman wasn't playing because he's got a bad thumb, and Cycli went to work with 21 points and 21 rebounds. Cleveland Cavaliers and the LA Clippers at the Sports Arena tonight in LA. Craig Elo to Larry Nance, who scored the first 10 Cavalier points. The Clippers had an answer, though, off the steal by Danny Manning. Gary Grant is going to get the ball to Ron Harper, and it's a 1-point game in the 1st. The Cavs, again, though, turned to the Elo and Nance combination, clicked during the 1st half. And it was a 10-point lead for Cleveland at the break. Right now, 6 minutes to go in the game. It's 84-78, the Cavs with the lead over the Clips. The Phoenix Suns have made it 6 straight wins. They knocked off Minnesota. The Timberwolves have never beaten the Suns, 123-109. The Dallas Mavericks and Denver Nuggets, that one goes to Denver for the first time in 3 tries, 124-110. And oh my goodness, the Sacramento Kings have now lost 27 straight games on the road. Golden State got them by 10. When the Prudential Halftime Report continues, you know them, you can't stand them, and you can't get away from them. They're the NBA's chronic complainers, and they're coming up next.
Hey, Bill, I told you to shut up.
Why don't you play the game and stop crying, you big baby?
I said shut up.
Get away from me.
Blazers host the Celtics, our Sunday night extra on TNT, and the Prudential Halftime Report continues. You know, there's a strange phenomenon in the NBA. Referees will call about 40, 45 fouls a night, but if you ask the players, nowhere near that many fouls are actually committed. That phenomenon has led to a league-wide outbreak of whining.
Hey, Bill, I told you to shut up.
Why don't you play the game and stop crying, you big baby?
I said shut up.
Get away from me.
33.
Fouls on Burns.
Despite all of the whistles, most players remain convinced of their innocence.
I played 14, 16 years. I don't think I never made a foul.
And a select few have become infamous for trying to prove it.
Wait a second. Kevin McHale has never committed a foul since he's been in the league. You know that.
You know, there are nights where you get into it with the referee and it's as much fun as playing.
I'm on the side of the players. I don't think we complain at all. I think there's just a lot of bad calls out there.
Me complaining to referees? How can people say that about me? I don't understand.
Oh, he's the biggest crybaby I ever met in my life.
The horn's going to be called for his 3rd foul, and going to have to count Rick down, who's already got a tee.
I feel I'm a contributor to a lot of the NBA functions.
Now Charles is history. Crowd will wave goodbye to Charles.
Well, I believe if a guy make a bad call, I let him know it. I don't worry too much about technicals.
They can change uniforms, but the NBA's elite complainers are always recognized by their fans.
If you talk to the fans in Philly, LA, Milwaukee, Detroit, you know, they'll tell you he was a crybaby, whining, spoiled brat.
Though they may sometimes be short on patience, they never lack for explanations.
A lot of the time, maybe I'm just BSing with the guy as much as yelling at him.
Everybody fouls. You know, it's just some they catch and some they don't. So what's the sense in complaining about it sometimes?
I got a great relationship with the refs.
Perhaps these players would lead a less stressful existence if they followed the advice of Moses Malone, who hasn't fouled out in over a decade.
No, I don't want to talk about that because it might be a jinx.
Come on, Mo, what's your secret?
Me? I love the ref. Best all the time. The greatest. You know, sometimes they make great calls, sometimes they make bad calls, but you know, you got to deal with the ref. I love the referees. I think they do a great job for the NBA.
Big Mo with your basic paid political announcement. We'll head back to Portland for the second half as the Blazers host the Celtics. First, a reminder that we're back with you for a Wednesday night extra this week as we stay on the trail of the Celtics. They'll be in Utah, and note that starting time, 9 o'clock, live from the Salt Palace Wednesday night on TNT. With you in Atlanta. Before we send you back to Portland, let us update the only other game still ongoing at this hour at the LA Sports Arena. The Clippers still trail the Cavs. It's a 6-point game with under 2 minutes to play. Here on TNT, the Boston Celtics, trying to avenge last Sunday's loss at home against Portland, have a 10-point lead over the Blazers at Memorial Coliseum. Let's send you back to Portland. Hubie Brown and Bob Neal. Bob?
Thank you, Ernie. We enjoyed the presentation, all the criers in the NBA. people who had been fouled, particularly Danny Ainge, who's had a little bit of that, and Kevin McHale already in this ball game here tonight. Well, Boston has the 10-point lead, and D. Brown, we talked about the fact that Brian Shaw is back from the ankle injury. D. Brown, the rookie, filled in for him, and he is continuing to play with tremendous confidence.
Well, you know, they scored 12 field goals that quarter. He had 8 assists in the second quarter. He's having it, and also Gamble and Lewis, really big scoring. Now just watch. This is where he's been murdered. He's been getting down inside off the dribble and then picking out the shooters. But now, give Boston credit. They have been making the perimeter shot with the pressure down. D. Brown, great limited playing time, and look at the statistics. Now, another major factor for Boston is not only Gamble and Lewis scoring, but also Bird with the threes. Now, he is 2 for 3 in that category, and both of them were killers. One after a timeout, and one when they were having a great deal of difficulty scoring points. Now, at this end of the floor, it's nothing but frustration. The poor team is only shooting 36%. They have 14 offensive rebounds by halftime, and you can see how many good opportunities they are getting. Now, when you're a coach in this situation, you're happy with the effort, you're frustrated with the shot, but you know it is there for you. But if you're going to not get it, you must get back defensively.
36%, you see that in Portland's perimeter shooting, only 3 of 16 from outside.
And that is definitely one of their strong suits, no doubt about it.
Now, we have to say at the beginning of this ballgame, we talked about the question. Portland has a week off because of a quirk in NBA scheduling and building not being available, etc. They are ice cold as you look at the shooting percentage there from the perimeter. Is it because of the layoff? What's your analysis of that so far?
I think that the opportunities have been there for them. They just haven't been able to make them. Plus, the Celtics have done an outstanding job knocking into perimeter shooting.